Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. Great article here by Fierce Network. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So what happened to T-Mobile's Un-carrier edge? That's a big question across the industry that many analysts and investors have an opinion on. And some of the analysts are quoted in this article, like Roger Ettner is quoted in this article, and he says the Un-carrier is dying a slow death and it's still waiting for an EMT. Jeff Moore is being quoted in this article from Wave 7 Research. So the Un-carrier is no more, right? We've talked about it in several videos. I've said it in older videos. Some of you that have come to realize it know that the Un-carrier is done. Now, T-Mobile is still preaching, as you will see in this article. The company claims it still offers the best value in wireless. And then it also says the Un-carrier is looking a lot more like other carriers. Analysts say it's a reflection of where T-Mobile is in its life cycle, a more mature company than it was 5 or 6 years ago, right? So could you say that's an excuse, right? A more mature company than five or 6 years ago, a reflection of where T-Mobile is in its life cycle, right? Some people might say that's an excuse, right? But the Un-carrier is done. It was right for its time. The Un-carrier was right for the disruption, to grow the company, to get the company into position to make the plays that they ended up making, right? Metro PCS, Iowa Wireless, Sprint, the several other smaller transactions they made along the way, like 600 megahertz, 700 from Verizon. And now we're waiting on US Cellular, right? And then we're also looking into the fiber space now. T-Mobile's buying up some fiber players, not the entire companies, right? 50% ownership, but they're getting Metronet and Lumos as well. And then potentially some more fiber players in the future. So what does that mean for T-Mobile, right? I made a video yesterday that T-Mobile is approaching dangerous territory, right? Because people are not used. They're not used to that type of T-Mobile. They're used to T-Mobile being cheap, being competitive. And now all of a sudden that strategy worked for T-Mobile. Now they're a bigger, different company. And now T-Mobile wants to make more money, right? They naturally have to make a return on the investment, on the Sprint merger, the fiber purchases, right? So they have to make it a return on that investment, which is understandable, right? And some of you I've seen in the comments say it's the right thing for T-Mobile to do. They need to make money. Although, right, that could backfire. As we said before, people have not told T-Mobile no. T-Mobile has gotten every deal so far across the finish line. If they continue to make the moves that they're making, right? Legacy plan increase, new price, new plans, taxes and fees back, right? If they don't hear a no, so to speak, on that front, they're going to continue to do it. So the whole saying, vote with your wallet, right? That could put T-Mobile in its place, right? If they see churn spike, people start porting out, going to other carriers, MVNOs, Verizon, AT&T, whatever the case, that will put T-Mobile in its place. Everything else is just going to be business as usual, right? If price increases, right? Because remember, before the price increases have hit in these new plans, T-Mobile's churn was fairly elevated, right? T-Mobile was at a 0.87, 0.88. They weren't really in the sevens, right? They didn't put like a 0.7, 0.75, right? That wasn't their churn percentage. It was elevated, right? So if T-Mobile can now implement price increases, which they've already done, implement these new plans, and their churn is still at a 0.89 or 0.9 or 0.91, then it's a win for T-Mobile. Because that tells T-Mobile the churn didn't elevate. They can continue business as usual and now try to put retention offers into play and work the churn to get it lowered, right? But if let's say they introduced the price increase, which they did, and it already hit most accounts that are affected. Let's say now all of a sudden churn is spiking like big time, right? It goes from 0.91% to 1.1, 1.2%, and T-Mobile is in panic mode, right? They're in the boardrooms, they're in meetings, they're in emergency meetings because churn is spiraling out of control, right? That will put T-Mobile in its place. Keep that in mind. I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm just telling you keep that in mind. Other than that, T-Mobile is going to continue with business as usual. And as for the Un-carrier, right, as Roger Ettner said, it's still waiting on EMTs to arrive, meaning it's not coming back. Right? It's not going to come back. The Un-carrier image is not going to come back. And these next few moves that T-Mobile might make, you won't see the Un-carrier a part of that because they're done with it, right? That was, like I said at the beginning of the video, that was right for its time, right? John was right for the company. The Un-carrier was right for the company at that time. The Un-carrier and John is not the right answer for the company at this point in time. The company is moving in different directions. They're scaling. They're basically a scaled competitor now, a much larger network. Right now they're getting into fiber. At some point they got to be thinking about owning and operating. So they have to generate a lot of cash flow, a lot. Right? Revenues have to go up. Everything has to be in line with what AT&T and Verizon are posting today, if not better. So that's T-Mobile's mission right now. That's their mission. So as far as growing and the growth and wireless, expect that to still be the same. They have not guided differently. They have not guided lower on the total postpaid numbers. If they do, then we have to discuss that and talk about it, when that happens. But for now, they still said they're going to be at 5.5 to 6 million for the year. That's what they guided when they first revealed the Q4 earnings, and then they gave outlook for the 2025 year. They guided that earlier in the year, before the price increases and before the plan changes and taxes and fees coming back. And they're saying now that the numbers are still going to be the same from the guidance that they gave at the beginning of the year. So nothing seems to be changing for T-Mobile with all these changes and moves that they're making. Business as usual for now, but the Un-carrier edge is done. But T-Mobile is still trying to present the best value in wireless, although I do think that will go to Verizon at some point, right? They're a few moves away from, in my opinion, having the best value in wireless. And as I've said before, that doesn't have to lead with price. So we'll wait for Verizon's Project 6 2024 once that releases. And we'll see, and we'll make that determination at that time. But for now, right, many people have been asking for a long time now, what happened to T-Mobile's Un-carrier? It's DOA, right? I've said it in plenty of videos. Just move after move after move. And even now, right, they still kind of try to be the Un-carrier with the latest new unlimited plans. They dropped pricing by $5, but then they added a $3.98 per line telco recovery fee. So, and then plus the taxes on top of that. So again, T-Mobile can technically still claim that the plan price is cheaper, but with the taxes and fees on top of that, it's going to drive the plan to a higher number than with taxes and fees included. Right? So you can see they're no longer really trying. So it's really going to take the competition to humble T-Mobile, right? To have another quarter where they couldn't hit the growth, and maybe they will have to change their guidance and lower the postpaid outlook for the postpaid outlook for the year. If they do that, you already know what's going to happen. The stock's going to drop. It's going to plummet. It's going to be down big, and then T-Mobile will have to make course for correction, or they're gonna have to address the investor, the board member, and the street with a different guidance and something different. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. See y'all in the next one. Peace.